Okay. So last week we had a discussion, pre-budget discussion, where we
Yes.
discussed the problems of the economy.
Correct. And our expectation from the budget.
Correct.
Yes. So let's have a recap of that in
Right.
the first slide. So it was government's turn to rectify everything.
Correct.
We were looking for, or last time's problem were economic slowdown, struggling industry, MSMEs, and part of startup space. Correct. Private investment and consumption.
Yes, there was no private investment taking
Stagnant
place. Like it
private.
was,
Yes.
there was a stagnancy.
And we wanted that to improve in order to in order for economic growth.
Correct.
And banking system has to be there.
Yeah,
Yes.
the banking system was the reason for the slowdown actually was that there was no credit offtake that was taking place, which we saw in that session.
We also saw the problems. We also gave a particular solutions for that thing, and
Correct.
all these videos are on YouTube, so you can go through that again.
Right.
And the most important point was that we need our economy need
The government is going to require
Fund.
funds for whatever economy boost that it was giving. So where
Correct.
was it going to get the funds from?
correct.
We were expecting a lot of fiscal deficit dilution also from the end of the government,
Correct.
right? And we spoke about all of that in detail last time.
Correct. And our apart from our specific solutions, which you can go and watch again, our main thing was whatever you do, whatever fiscal deficit slippage, whatever fund you want to raise, whatever external loan you want to take it for short term and improve the economy.
Correct.
So we were actually expecting a lot of radical changes, big bang announcement, and quick fix for an economy which
Yeah.
was struggling since 2016.
Right.
We were also focusing on operational efficiencies.
Right.
Correct.
So a lot of things needed to be rectified in the budget.
Correct. But what we got?
Yeah, we got an aspirational India, economic development and caring society.
Yes, caring
Okay.
society.
This is what is comprised of ease of living.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that was the problem. Correct. From our side, at least.
Correct. So basically, we did not get a big bang budget.
Correct.
We got a budget which says that you have patience. You what the government has been doing so far is likely to pass in the future. That is what the finance ministry's opinion is.
Correct.
Okay. So our talk today is going to be much about what are the things that are going in his favor and what are the things that are
Which
likely
may
to
go. Correct.
yeah, what are
Against.
things that are likely to go against that premise which the government is working upon.
So government is like bit by bit we will build the economy,
Correct.
and we may get out of it, whatever mess this
Yeah,
is.
and
Correct?
they have also been like if you see the 13 December presentation which the finance minister gave.
Government interventions.
Yeah, what all government has been doing so far, that
Correct.
presentation. Then the in India infrastructure pipeline which they came up with, and now finally this budget. So they are sticking to their guns. Basically, that is the story here. They are sticking to their guns that we have done a lot of things
Let's see what is
and
the outcome.
likely to pan out in the future. But at the same time, they also went forward and said that it's not going to happen this year in the sense that the GDP growth for this year they forecasted as 10%
Correct.
on a nominal basis.
Perfect.
So again, your real GDP growth comes to 5-6% only at that time.
4.5 to 6%. And
Correct.
6 is our
Optimistic version of that.
Correct.
Okay, and even there was one document in the budget which goes on to state that the GDP is likely to start going up from the first quarter of 2021.
First quarter of 2021-22.
Yeah,
21-22.
of 2021.
2021. Okay.
Yeah. So it's likely to start moving up, but
Up.
then the average would probably still come down to 5.5% or something.
So whatever government is going to give us, we need to take it with the pinch of salt. That has to
Right.
be there. Correct.
Yeah,
And we need to be realistic in all these sense. But one thing was clear, that now government is on homeopathic medicine. They will be slow and they will means they are not going for surgery.
Yeah,
They are like, let economy
get revived by whatever steps that we have
are
taken.
doing.
Yeah.
We are doing correct.
Yeah. So they have taken a course of action. Let it play out.
Yes, and having said that, finance minister has repeatedly said that we don't need budget do reforms. Correct, we don't need budget. So if this doesn't pan out, we may expect something big during the course of
Any time
also.
during the
Yeah.
So corrective course of action can happen anytime.
But let's focus on budget now.
Yeah, of
and
course.
what are the keys? What we'll do, we will show you a few of the schemes, few of the highlights, and we will give you our opinion regarding those
things. Is obviously well published,
and
like
it's been 7 days.
the tax slab and all that stuff is everywhere.
We have put that in, but
Achha,
still
okay.
everything
Yeah,
is well published. But we
Yeah.
will give our opinion. That's it.
That's it. So this is what is the 1920 budgeted expectation outlays of various things, okay, and the revised estimates, and then the
Budgeted
2021 estimates, and you can see the difference. Okay, now again you can see the broad theme here: aspirational India, economic development, and new economy and caring society.
Correct.
Okay. Now, funnily, I just want to digress for a moment and show you this one thing. Okay.
It's amazing. you need to go through it.
Yeah, and it's fun also. It's fun and amazing.
So you need to.
Okay, I need to pull this out.
No.
Yeah. Now I need to start sharing the
application.
So we were looking at Saudi Arabia, okay, when the Aramco IPO came, and we were wondering as to why Saudi Arabia came up with an IPO. Okay, so can you see this slide? Can you see this website? It is the Vision 2030 of the Saudi Arabia government. Okay. And even they are saying that, our vision is in all these emotions that they have put, like a vibrant society,
thriving economy,
and an ambitious nation. Now we look at ours.
You need to change that. Actually.
Yeah, now we need to change. But I hope you got the point. So when you click on any of these, they will tell you what all stuff they are doing for that thriving economy and what all stuff they are doing for that ambitious nation and same thing. So I got a very similar feel.
Correct.
And then when she announced that the LIC IPO is gonna come out, that was actually the end game. That
was the end game.
Yeah,
correct.
That is like pressing the panic button.
Yeah, we will talk about that IPO because sources of funds.
Yeah, but then I thought that it was worth sharing that, this, I think this is a new theme amongst financial ministers or something where they
politicians
talk about all
around
this
the
emotional
world,
stuff,
Politicians all around the world, they are talking about this. Means they are there to nudge and do their work, whatever that is.
Yeah, I don't know. What is this? Emotional finance or something?
I don't know.
Aspirational India, economic development,
caring society
and all that.
Yes, so these were the pillars.
Right.
And guys, just go on this Government India website, you will get the infographics, okay? So no need for PPT.
Yeah.
So next thing is, yes, these were the pillars. And in that, their allocation is like this. 4,82,000 crore for aspirational India. So forget about mainly for agriculture, rural development, water sanitation and education. That is 4,82,000 crore. That is budgeted estimate.
Correct. Now, again, we'll speak about this later, right? We are going to talk about this in detail.
Yeah, we're going to talk about this. Economic development, this is mainly related to industry, transport and energy, 2,37,000.
Correct.
Now, these numbers and the numbers in the budgeted speech, they might differ, okay? Just because what they have taken in this economic development in a larger basis may be different. And the Nirmalasitaraman, she might be talking about a part of that. Let me show you how.
Because these are also official numbers. Only.
Yeah. Education and skill development. We have taken this from the official thing. So education skill development, in the budgeted speech we saw that it is 99,000 crore, and
Yeah.
it is here 1,02,000 crore.
Yeah,
So
so
this might,
something
yeah,
plus
yeah,
minus
plus
something
minus is
must
there.
have
That
happened
doesn't
there.
matter. That doesn't matter. Look at the broad aspect, guys. 4,82,000 for aspirational India, mainly agri, rural, water, and education. Okay,
Correct.
4,82,000 crore. Now, on that day, we were talking about industry wants push. For that, it is 2,37,000 crore. And if you see from 1920, there is not a great change in that number from 1920.
Yeah.
Okay, new economy 42,000 crore. We will talk about new economy. Okay, and we will talk about hazards of new economy and why this is just for the they are putting money into this. According to me, this is just for the sake of it. Why we will talk about that?
It's just
This-
yeah, it's just a nudge actually.
Uh,
Not
the-
really.
this may be my opinion. Okay, don't look at 42,000 crore over here, because science and technology 14,000 and information technology and space technology 20,000. Now, having seen that our ISRO, our IT is well built, and they are putting, have a look at the numbers: 19,000 crore, 18,000 crore, and 20,000 crore. Not much of a difference.
They are not, yeah, they are just this is like your normal financial project.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And in new economy, they talked about ML, AI, quantum computing, and everything, and they allotted very little amount of money. We'll talk about that at the end. Caring society. Now, this was a kind of, look at this: women and child development and social welfare,
Correct.
environment and climate change, and culture and tourism. Okay,
Right.
and only 62,000 crore. So you are making that caring society your pillar, and you are allotting 62,000 crore for that. Now, having said that, it's a jump than last year's budget.
Yeah, it's quite a jump.
Yeah.
It's a
But-
10% jump.
Yes, but here again, culture and tourism, first year 5,200 crore. Sorry, budgeted about 5,200. They spent 3,900, and again they are keeping budget roundabout same 5,600
Yeah, even in the
crore.
earlier one, they spent 2,000 crore less. So they are
Yes.
not able to utilize the funds, or I don't know what.
They don't utilize funds.
Yeah, or
Common
maybe
problem.
they are pretty clueless about
Yes,
what else can be
this
done.
is a common problem most of the time. Okay,
Right.
they send the budget back. Why, we don't know. Let's see, and we all know why. Okay, but this is the structure, guys. This is the actual structure. But have a look at the final, that is financial sector, and which was the backbone of entire revival scheme.
Yeah,
So in finance sector, last year budgeted estimate was 20,000 to 19,000. This year it is 40,000 crore.
so they have doubled it.
Doubled it.
practically. Oh, sorry.
They have doubled it. Okay,
Right.
and in that infra finance is also there. Okay, so this is the key sector. Our India's growth, it always travels through finance sector.
Yeah, and they also announced at this point that over the last 2 years, they have pumped in 3,20,000 crores into the banking sector.
Yes, yes.
So that needs to be highlighted that it's a very big bet that they are playing.
Correct, correct, correct. If you want to go for homeopathy rather than surgery, then
Yeah.
the finance sector is the route.
Is the route in theory, but it's not been performing.
It's not been
Like what
performing.
we saw.
Yes.
And funnily, the monetary policy is also going to happen tomorrow.
Yes, monetary policy is going to be there tomorrow. Let's see what's their stance on budget. There will be some commentary on that.
Right.
Okay, so let's start. Let's start.
Okay, so now this is your government expenditure. Okay, as expected, they have increased the expenditure this time round to around 30 lakh crores.
Correct.
Okay, from the 27.5 lakh crores,
Perfect,
27.6
perfect.
lakh crores. Okay, and this is also very nominal rise considering that we were expecting a big bang. I think this is not much of a decline, or much of an increase in the
Increase.
expenditure.
Perfect.
Okay, so this is like the slow medicine as we saw. And again, if you see the things here, the government expenditure, the central sector schemes, central sector expenditure, sponsored schemes, grants, and all that, there is no drastic change out here that you can see in any of these. Everything is just changing very gradually, except for this other grants and loans.
That's okay,
which
man.
is fine.
Which is fine. Which is fine.
Yeah. So there is
that means, Janak, again, government is not
sticking to the story.
sticking to the story,
Yeah.
and they are not pushing anything in a huge manner through this expenditure.
Correct.
From
Correct.
And we are talking about from this expenditure's perspective. We have not discussed all other sources of funds that we are going to do it.
Yeah.
But government, from their books, they are sticking to the guns. They are,
Yeah.
correct.
Correct. Now this is your loans from NSFF.
Okay, National Small Saving Fund. Okay,
Ah.
this is the loans. We discussed about Food Corporation and balance sheet items. Correct, guys. In revised estimate 1920, Food Corporation's loans were 1,10,000 crore, but in budgeted estimate 2021, they are gunning for 1,36,000 crore. 1,36,000 crore.
But there was this thing which says that they asked for 2,06,000 crores.
What?
Or 2,10,000 crores.
Okay, 2,10,000 crores.
That's what they were asking for. So they got much less.
So let's see, and because of that, they need to go for this. There is loan on their books also.
Correct.
So this is the requirement of Food Corporation of India, 1,36,000.
Yeah, this is a budgeted
amount. Correct.
Okay.
This time round. Now, what if this is not been done through loans from NSSF? What will happen in that case? Okay. This time round, last time they were able to maintain fiscal deficit at the permissible limit by increasing off balance sheet items. This time round, again, it will be very interesting to see the loan books of Food Corporation of India, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, and this NHAI. Correct. This will be very interesting to see.
Yeah.
Correct. Because this time around, fiscal deficit target is 3.8. Correct. Government
increased it from 3.3 to 3.8.
3.8. Having said that, again, we need to focus on off-balance sheet items.
Yeah.
What are those?
The interesting thing here is I heard a few fund managers interviews, and they were talking that when you add up the fiscal deficit, the off-balance sheet items, and the state debt which is there, okay, our deficit was already hitting 8%.
Okay, but if you include state debt, same story with US also.
Correct.
In US also, their debt is around about $19 trillion. But if you add each and every corporation and state debt, it goes up drastically.
Correct.
But whether to do that or not, that is a perspective.
So yeah, they were very wary of the fact that they should not go above 10.
Okay. In that sense. Okay.
So that is a number which we need to keep in mind and study that little bit, and probably statistic in the future about it.
Yeah, we will do that. Nice suggestions, I guess. And if you want to add state fiscal deficit, okay, then we also need to add state tax revenue portion of the tax.
Correct.
Then only it will be a fine and proper assessment of entire thing. We'll try to do that sometimes in future.
We will try and figure that out.
Yes. Next thing. Now this is important. Why we are showing you these things, guys? Because it is important. Everything is going to be source of fund and operations. Nothing else.
Correct.
Source of fund, deployment of fund, and operations.
Yeah. So now again, where does the rupee comes from? 20 paisa comes from borrowing.
20% of the money comes from borrowings.
Okay.
Correct.
18 paisa for every buck that is the government is receiving. Okay. 18 paisa is coming from corporate tax. And this time around they have lowered the tax. They have lowered the corporate tax.
Now we will see what is the trend.
17 paisa comes from income tax.
Correct.
4 paisa comes from custom duty.
Major part is GST.
7 paisa comes from excise duty, and 18 paisa comes from GST.
Correct.
Then the non-tax revenue is 10 paisa, and your non-debt capital received is 6 paisa, all your dividend and all those things, right? So this is how the government gets money inside, and even the debt is there in this. And then this money, how is it spent?
So, Janak, in this, just one thing. This time around, this corporate tax,
It has been slashed
we need
drastically.
to yes, we need to focus on this corporate tax cut trend and
Yeah.
what government is expecting about this tax.
Correct.
So, whatever they have done, if they are assuming that this corporate tax is going to increase, do we have the slide?
I have a number on that. I
Okay.
can show it to you. Just a second.
Show me the slide whether we have
It's
the slides
it's
on
there in the Excel one moment.
Okay.
I'll just show it to you. Right. Okay, so I hope this Excel is visible. Okay, now in this Excel, we have discussed again in one of our previous videos for last year's budget. This is a similar Excel for this year's budget. Now this is your revenue part of it. Okay, your tax income. So if you remember our previous video, the tax income for the government last year was 16.5 lakh crores.
Okay.
And the state share of it was 8 lakh crores, and the total tax
Perfect.
was 24 lakh crores.
Okay.
Okay. Now, again, total share is 24.2 lakh crores. State is
Stagnant.
going to get 7.8, and this is 16. So it's a 3% down from previous year.
So they have
No, sorry. 1.5% down from previous
in total
year, basically. In totality.
So they have considered that stagnation, correct? Anuman, yes, they have considered the stagnation.
Correct. But now look at this. The corporate tax numbers, they have actually taken a hit of 85,000 crores according to their calculation.
Perfect, perfect.
Okay. Now 85,000 crore works out to be how much percentage of last year's tax is 11% down.
Which is fair.
Which is perfect
Which
because
is
they
fair.
slashed the tax by 11% approximately.
So at least there will not be a divergence in budgeted thing, and there may be divergence,
Yeah.
but it will not be far-fetched.
Correct. So it's our job to check whether these numbers are right or not.
Making sense or
Which
not.
is why I am so obsessed with these Excel sheets.
Correct.
Okay. And the income tax, now they have increased it here by a certain percentage. So this is the difference. If I were to see, they have increased it by 12%.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So the loss that they are going to incur over last year in corporate tax is 85,000 crores,
Okay.
which they are going to make up is 68,000 in income tax, and
And I think that is also kind of allowed or okayish or a very rational estimation, because if you look at 17, 18, 18, 19 and 19, 20, if you see the growth rate 40 to 51, 51 to 55, then 62 is a very justifiable amount
Correct.
for a projection.
correct. Now look at this number. This is the number which they have
What is this
increased.
number?
This is your GST number, the CGST number,
Perfect,
which is
perfect.
there out here. Okay, my cursor is dancing around there. They have increased that also over last year by 10%.
Only 10%. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if you let's talk about GST. You
Yeah.
have one slide, correct, forward, but
Yeah,
we'll
but
talk
that's
about here
operational.
only.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Janak, so what was the change in the? Just explain to the viewers that what is the change, what change they have done, and what will be the impact in GST's entire process.
Okay, so now in last year's budget, okay, in the July budget, they said that there's going to be an e-invoicing system,
Perfect.
okay, which they are going to incorporate in the GST.
Hmm.
So now the problem that people were facing in the GST was very operational, that if I buy raw material from you and I pay you the entire amount,
Perfect.
including GST.
GST.
Now I have to upload in the system that I have paid this much amount to Rahul as GST.
Perfect.
And Rahul also has to update in his system
Then
that
I
I have
have
received
received
this much amount from Janak in the GST.
Perfect.
So I have to update by 10th of the month, and you have to verify that by 20th,
20th
of the month.
month.
Okay.
Correct.
And if you don't do that, I'm stuck.
You are stuck. That means his money which
I don't get the GST rebate.
correct, because actually he's not the end customer right now. He's
Yeah.
going to process on that product, and then he's going to pass on the product.
Yeah.
Correct. So he ideally he must get that money in short period of time so that he can use that money
Correct.
as a working capital or do
Yeah.
something in the business.
I get to offset that money
Correct.
from the GST that I have to pay to the government when my actual sale happens.
Correct. So what happened that in 2018, I think July 2018, when government brought this forward, GST 17, sorry,
17
not 18,
the GST
17.
system came.
Yes, 2017. At that time, we were not infrastructurally equipped to carry forward all these operationals smoothly.
Correct.
And that was the reason that it was a time-taking scenario in
Utter
terms
chaos.
of refund.
Yeah.
Correct. And entire money got stuck in the process. And because of that, these small businesses took hit.
Yeah.
Correct. And other thing was the multiple slabs. So
obviously, and another thing was that your cost increases because you need to file the GST every month.
every month.
So you have to go to the CA every month for any dumb thing also.
And CAs, if they touch GSTs, they take how much? 500 rupees?
So they'll take any amount.
Correct.
They take 2,000 also for filing a return.
Sometimes.
Yeah, depends on the calculations.
Depends on the case.
Obviously, yeah. So now that was one thing. Another thing was that
One second, Janak. So that was the infrastructural problem. If you see in core, GST was a good thing. Wrong implementation was the problem.
Correct.
Now here, government is taking 10% forecasted increase in the GST or
which
the budgeted
is
estimate.
very fair.
If this goes through properly, this thing, what you are just explained, then this is a fair estimate. Now just explain them what is the actual entire
also
thing.
there are 1-2 more points I want to add. Okay, the
Government
government has
the earlier point.
Yeah.
That GST.
Yeah, that one. The government has kept on changing the GST rate then eventually
Yes.
after bringing it.
Yes,
that is
yes.
one thing. So that adds to the complexity of the situation.
Everyone was like, let's
Yeah.
hope for lower GST and then we will do the deal.
Correct.
Something like that. Yeah.
Also, what the government did was that they eventually decided to give a relief to certain companies which are below a certain amount
Yes.
of MSME companies.
Perfect.
Okay, that you file GST once in 3 months.
Yes.
Now, if I file GST once in 3 months, what about that vendor of mine who
is
files
filing
every
GST
month?
every month?
Usko kaise milega?
उसके पैसे का अटक गए सब लोग.
Correct. So now, because of that entire issue, they have now come up with an e-invoicing system
Perfect.
where my vendor will raise an invoice to me on the government portal.
Okay.
I will accept the invoice and pay it also. Pay the invoice and put the payment receive acknowledgement on the portal
itself.
and the guy who raised the invoice will acknowledge it. That's the end of it.
That's the end of it.
So he does not need to upload ke Janak has paid me.
So
this
what are
much
the
GST.
pros? What are the benefits? एक CA निकल गया, so it is a easy scheme. Second, the most important is
that your GST reconciliation has been done automatically.
And third, because of which money will be there in the hands of in the system.
Yeah. So
Correct.
your tax ka entire automation is causing that harassment of GST officers and all will eventually come down.
Yes, and money will be there in the system ASAP.
Yeah. You
Correct.
don't need audit and all because invoice hi ban gaya hai na.
Correct.
You don't need a GST audit.
Perfect.
Now, that is one thing, but there is a hidden aspect here.
Which one?
That government gets all the data of all the transactions.
Yes. So what to do with that? So it is going to happen.
It's brilliant.
It's
genius.
going to happen.
It's genius.
It's genius, and it is more, according to me, this is more important than direct tax.
Right.
GST. GST is going to be more important than direct tax for us in future because everyone pays GST.
Yeah, and
everyone pays GST. Correct.
Yeah. Also, we'll talk about the dialogue of the government even on the income tax front. They are actually trying to do with the intervention of these tax officers. Even in income tax, they have now allowed you to file an income tax plea. This thing, I think we have a slide on it.
We have slab ka slide. We don't. At that time, we will talk.
Okay, so they have allowed. So if the income tax officer, if he gives you a
Notice.
okay, a demand.
Correct.
you can actually file a petition against the demand saying, "Okay, this is why I feel that your demand is not correct."
Okay,
Okay.
perfect.
So now there is a system which they have implemented over the last 1.5 years, that your income tax officer does not know who you are, and your file gets sent to him in an encrypted manner.
Correct.
An anonymous review of your file takes place, and
Okay.
you get a demand from the income tax.
Perfect.
But now, when you want to file a petition, you have to say, "Okay, boss, I am me," and this, that.
Perfect.
So they have come up with a new thing that now to file a petition against the demand, you can also do it anonymously.
Okay, okay. And this may avoid
The
harassment.
harassment, obviously, because you don't know who is there on the opposite end.
Perfect, perfect.
And that is also a very good thing.
Now, let's see this year what is the result of this entire thing, and whether harassment is going down or not, or
Also-
they are circumventing. These officers are circumventing.
Yeah, if
the
they
entire
find
thing.
a way. Yeah, they are
Yeah.
like those mice who will find
Mice
a way
means
here
in
and
India,
there. Yeah.
there is a loophole in everything.
Everything.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but if you look at the story which the government is painting, okay, the GST story where the e-invoicing thing is there, the income tax story where you can be anonymously
Correct.
this thing,
Correct.
okay, and the third story where they made a very simplistic tax slab. Now, I don't want to get into the tax slab whether it is beneficial or whether it's a horrendous one.
So what?
But the fact that forget the hassle of any what do you call deductions, just pay tax in a very simple way. That thought, I welcome that thought. Okay,
Yes, but
that it
according
has
to
to
me-
be simple in some way.
It is not simple. Means more than okay. If I see from the government's point of view, I think that is a means अपना revenue बढ़ाने वाला ज़्यादा
Fair
है.
enough.
Correct.
In the future, they might reduce that tax slab also.
Correct.
When the
Correct.
need comes.
Correct.
Okay. Or they might hike it. But the point is to simplify the matter. That's what I'm saying. That there are, as she said, there were 100 deductions that were being allowed.
Agreed.
And
Agreed.
they have done away with 70 of them. So that is like a notion of simplifying
it, but still it has means okay. If you see from the consumption story point of view of a private players, okay, what we were discussing that from the I agreed from the government's perspective, okay, and from the tax perspective, their notion is we are going to simplify. But if you see economy, what our expectation was they will put more money in the hands of people through tax.
Correct.
And demand was there from everyone.
Yeah,
but in
but
reality,
then-
by doing this complicated thing, complicated to understand, but easy to fill up thing, they are not putting any money in the hands of people.
And that's to
the
be
issue.
discussed also, that even if they did, it would just affect the 6 crore taxpayers.
Indirect taxpayer. Correct.
That time though we discussed that also, and that's the only thing that is going to come in
The entire thing was about tax.
yeah.
It was like a magic trick.
Yeah. So this is that story that they are unfolding. They also said they are going to make a memorandum for tax officers to follow. There was some word which they used. Code of ethics.
Okay, India and code of ethics. Let's move forward.
Yeah.
So our major point was, guys, that what the government is trying to do, they are trying to improve their revenue through all these operational, through putting forward operational efficiencies, be it GST, be it direct tax. Okay,
Correct.
let's see next year what's the impact of this. But having said that, their estimates are very, very conservative, and we think that they will hit
And
those
that is a
estimates.
good thing.
That is a good
That's
thing
a good
for
thing.
India as an economy.
None of this is off the very
Off the
creative
chart.
or anything.
Off the chart.
It's very nominal.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so that is that. Now let's get back to our PPT. Yes, hi Sagar. Good to hear from you also after a long time. Now,
Yes, PPT.
PPT, right?
Yes, expenditure.
Yeah, so we spoke about this.
Then,
that the money comes in from here
Barabar.
and it goes out to all these schemes that is there on your screen.
Highest one is, forget about state shares in taxes. Highest is interest payment. Again,
Correct.
18% of
So
the entire
they are borrowing 20 paisa and 18 paisa is going to pay interest of that.
interest.
Now, if this does not reverse soon, we know where we all are headed.
Correct. So, yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And we don't think that it is going to reverse soon because they are going to need money. They will raise bonds since no extraordinary things they are putting forward.
Correct.
They might be doing that. And apart from that, and now I have heard multiple times about our amazing external borrowing to GDP ratio. And Nirmala Sitaraman is pushing that multiple times on TV. So there will be something on that front. There is particular thing on that front. We'll discuss that, but something is going to come on that front aggressively. That has to be there. Okay, and that means government is looking towards foreign money for pushing the funding.
They are very clear about it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now let's go. These all slides are these infographics. We have taken it from PIB. Just go on their website or go to Budget India website. You will get the thing. Why we are doing that? Because this is 7th day. You know almost everything. Now
Correct.
We are discussing our view.
Yeah, and we are just trying to unfold the story.
Yes.
Okay. The underlying this thing that is there.
Correct. Correct.
Monologue is not the right word.
No.
Tone.
Underlying tone is there.
That there is.
So, guys, we have seen. First thing is, what was the first thing? That was aspirational India.
Yeah.
Correct. Now, when in the last session we clearly discussed that everyone wants money, right from industry to common people. And when we say common people, the biggest part of Indian common population resides in
rural
area. Correct. And highest number of jobs they also been created in unorganized sector and rural India. Okay, so this time budget has to be there. They focused on agri, and aqua economy or this sea related fisheries
and everything.
Correct.
This should have actually been done 5 years ago,
yes.
Or at least in that particular year when Modi decided that we want to double farmers' income.
Yes. Means 1 year before the election.
Yeah.
Or in the subsequent year of demonetization. That was there.
Fair enough.
That was there. Correct?
This should have been done earlier. This is a welcome move, whatever they are doing. Like doubling milk capacity.
Now,
and
these are again, guys, these are targets.
Yeah, and
this
they
doubling
might
milk capacity and
also.
everything, all these are targets. Main thing is here. The most important thing is here. And which we can easily track agri credit target. If this happens, there will be a change. There will be a push to rural economy. 50 lakh crore agricultural target
15,
is the 15 lakh crore. Correct? Correct. This is the one thing. Second thing, do we have? Yeah, we have the overall targets also. For agri irrigation and allied activities, they want to spend 160 lakh crore in this year, and rural development and Panchayat Raj 1.23. So total is 2.80 lakh crore.
83,
so in this, they try to focus on. I heard solar pumps and solar thing multiple times.
Yeah.
Right? That those who have barren land, they will focus on putting up solar grids.
And connected to the grid.
Grids.
Yeah.
So that is a good point.
An additional source of income.
Correct. Most again in India, every time, last few years, every time I am seeing third or not third. I think this is my 7th or 8th budget where everyone is talking about our cold storage chain. And government is talking about right from Congress. They want to build cold storage, they want good logistics, and they want warehousing. So that is a constant problem in India.
But now this is where the operational thing comes in.
Like so this. Okay. You go for it.
E-tagging, right?
E-tagging.
Yeah. So the
geotagging.
So they said that we already have some cold storage in place, some XYZ capacity of cold storage in place. And we are now going to geotag that capacity so that we come to know what exactly is happening in those places and where things are going wrong.
Agreed. So actually, okay. So this may curb the black marketing
Leakage, yeah.
leakage, black marketing. Second biggest point in India is that if you see the amount of food wastage in percentages, our percentage is almost in top three or top five around the world.
Yeah.
I'm very I want to say we are the first. I think we are the first, but I don't have exact data. But I'm sure that in terms of food wastage, through supply chain, through FCI, Food Corporation in India, we are the top in top five. Okay, and that's why we see कि कांदे का भाव बढ़ जाता है. That's why we see food inflation. That's why we see hunger problems in India. So that's why this warehousing and cold storage thing is utmost important in India. Let's see, and this requires funding. Okay, I know the operational changes are going to stop the leakage and problem areas, but post that we require funding to improve all these things.
Yeah, and operations also. Like
Yes.
the lack of operations in this entire economy of ours is alarming. So
That was there. So
Yeah.
let's move forward, and this is going to impact a lot of people, especially larger population. That's why they put forward this much amount.
yeah, they also spoke a little bit about the irrigation part of it also.
Correct.
And let's hope they do something about that.
So the aqua economy again.
Now, Aquame, they spoke about aquaculture and fisheries, okay? And how the reason for this is because exports ke liye fisheries are very useful. Okay, so and also a lot of fisheries went shut recently, a few years ago, and all that stuff.
So same thing with the farming. Whatever they are trying to do with the farming, they are trying to do with this, so that they can mobilize funds through this economy, rural economy.
Correct.
That is the base thing all in this entire structure. Okay, we have seen this. Okay, key numbers, we have seen it.
Yeah, we saw it in a
Yes, and
different format.
this current format, and fiscal deficit is 7.96 lakh crore, 3.8. Okay, expenditure we have already seen in a different format. This is much detailed one. Okay, defense budget is at 3.23 lakh crore now, and where is the other thing? I want to focus on about education, 99,000 crore. Okay,
Right.
Education is 99,000 crore.
Right. So this is the expenditure. Now, when you compare it with last year, there's nothing major that has changed, except that in this, when I saw the Excel, this rural development number which is there, they actually
Dropped it.
the central government bit which is at, so this is 1,44,000, but the central government bit is around
60,
64,000
something
crores
like
or
that,
something,
something
which is
like that.
actually lesser than
Lesser
last
than
year.
last year. Last
So that is the underlying thing.
Tone. Correct. Now let's come to education. Yeah, we were talking about education. Let's come to education, and
A lot
our-
of things were said in the
yes,
education.
and we were very surprised, and we were like, "ये नहीं करेगा तो और कौन करेगा?"
Yeah,
like
so it
external
was-
commercial borrowings and FDI in education.
Correct. So it was a series of mixed feelings that at least we got, two
Correct.
of us got when we saw this thing. Because first we were a little enraged that what the hell, why do you want FDI in education?
External commercial and FDI. What is the requirement?
Right?
Correct.
And why do you want foreign universities or foreign entities to come and open colleges in India or
own the colleges in India.
But then we thought that वैसे भी all these politicians, each and every politician owns a college in India, and any amount of funding which is mobilized for education goes through that and gets dissipated
happened.
and never reaches the ground level anyways. So-
Let's say not never, but most of the time.
Fair
talk-
enough.
yeah.
Let's be politically
So end
correct.
result, no,
Yeah.
end result is not there on the grounds.
Ah.
Let's talk about this. Correct.
Correct. So now, if that were the case, it's better that you get some private, professionally managed university to come and actually run this as a full-fledged business, but do a decent job out of it.
Correct. But again, having said that, if you leave aside economics and if you leave aside business for any country, if foreign countries are controlling that particular country's
It's
premium
bad. It's
brain,
bad, yeah.
it's bad. Okay.
Agree.
Now these are our private opinions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, okay. What was I saying? I blanked out.
So one more thing, that online education, the top 10 things.
Top 10 universities are going to now come up with online education
And
programs which are actual
big university programs.
actual. They are considered to be proper degrees and all that stuff.
Correct. And
That's what they are going to bring about.
And that is going to happen in future.
That's
That is
the
going
only
to
way last mile change is going to happen.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. And the amount is 99,300. That is 99,000 crore, which is fair enough according to us.
Yeah.
Now,
Which is actually similar to last year's amount also, which
Wow.
was 97.
97,000 crore. Perfect. Now, infra.
So the story has changed. The amount is the same.
Amount is the same. Story has changed.
Yeah.
Perfect. And one more thing, we also discussed. No, okay. At the end, in the new economy, we'll do that. Now, guys, major thing was government's announcement of putting in 100 lakh crore 5 years
Correct.
in infrastructure pipeline. Okay. So this was the big bang announcement which was needed. The only solution or the only thing which we both were, or the TMR were looking for is, भाई पैसा कहाँ से आएगा?
Correct.
100 लाख करोड़ यानी कितना होता है बिलियन डॉलर में? वो कहाँ से लेके आओगे तुम? Okay, that was our problem.
Yeah.
Okay, because announcements are easy to make.
So 100 lakh crores is 1 crore crores.
Yeah, 100 lakh crores is 1 crore crore.
Just to put things in a different perspective. Yeah.
Now, लेकिन इंडिया में announcement हमेशा होता है, right from 1947. Okay, but पैसा कहाँ से लाओगे? So when we were looking for Big Bang announcement, it was not coming in, but finally in small one or two line, we got the entire solution.
Correct.
Okay, and it is really interesting.
Yeah, and it's great.
And it's great or not, that's a private. So
It has great potential.
it has great potential, but if you leave aside economics, my personal view is again bit different. वो फॉरेन का पैसा ज्यादा नहीं लेने का और वैसा, but that's okay.
But then
There is no solution. Everything has to be balanced, correct? It's not a right word. That's okay. So where were we?
To the two lines which
Yes,
we
two
heard.
lines were that by 2024, if any foreign sovereign fund is going to invest money in Indian infrastructure projects, then by 2027 they will get 100% tax exemption on capital gains,
That they
dividends,
incur from it.
anything. That means they are leaving door open for all the sovereign funds. Okay. Now, the sovereign funds, it's a critical case, guys. Not a critical case, but it's an interesting case. Because if you see,
And pension funds.
these guys have a lot of money.
Yeah.
Means
In
lot
fact-
of money.
Yeah. In fact, the Saudi and Canadian pension fund have been pretty active in India since
Singapore,
quite a while. And
Saudi, Canadian, and I hope Qatar will also join in. I don't know. But all these funds, be it their country ka QE, be it expansionary policies, they have a lot of funds in recent years. And they are moving across the
and they are
countries.
looking to diversify their
Perfect.
exposure.
Perfect.
And an opportunity like this could actually be very, very useful for them
And India also.
when it is clubbed with one more announcement that was made.
Yes, and that was the very important announcement for their peace
Mindset.
of mind.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
But again, for us, we need to do this and get out of this as fast as possible.
Correct.
And then it is going to be good for us.
Yeah. If we pay back the thing fairly and they are out of that,
Then it is
deal,
going to
then
be
it's
good
all
for
good.
us. Now, Janak, what was there? So,
So
I think
now-
you should ask the question to them: why they will invest in India, and how why there will be a peace of mind.
Correct. if you guys can think, okay, that if you are a pension fund of some country and you are investing in an Indian infrastructure project, what is the biggest risk that you guys have? What is the risk if you invest in this project? So typically,
Foreign
when I
countries.
say that you're investing in such projects, it's not equity, it's the debt that you are investing in. It's a loan that you're giving. Yeah. So if you invest in Indian infrastructure debt, what is your risk?
Yes, correct.
Interest.
Interest, correct. That means project will go bust.
Yeah,
Correct.
that is most bluntly put, but that is correct.
Correct.
You are scared that you will ever get your money back or no. What if the project stops? What if it does not earn and all that stuff, right?
Correct. Correct.
So for that, they actually made an announcement which was very appeasing.
So, Janak, let's
Okay,
ask them the question.
can
So,
you
what
tell
is the solution?
that how do you what is
Circumvent
the
this.
solution to circumvent the risk that is there out here, the project going bust wala risk or interest risk or whatever risk you're pointing out? Okay, according to you, what should be the solution
And
to
let me tell you guys,
liquidity risk? Chalega,
all of
yeah.
you know the solution. I am 99.
Everyone knows, and it's so
everyone knows.
blatantly obvious, but I don't think people will talk about this openly. Okay.
What is the solution, guys? And they have given the solution.
Yeah.
And you also know the solution, but you don't know you know the solution.
Just like that, friends. You don't know that they know that you know.
Come on, guys,
Anyway.
tell me what is the solution? Which is that one stability तो किसी के हाथ में नहीं है ना.
All those are concerns. Now, what is the solution? Government
Assurance.
No, Gaurav.
अरे
that's
post
not the
Greece,
solution.
post Eurozone, post US,
तो क्या
post
भरोसा?
China, post Japan, no one has the
Arey,
assurance.
if Modi ji gives assurance and after 4 years Modi ji is not the government, then what happens? TARP.
What is TARP, Varun? Pool investors. Pool investor means nothing but you are putting risk on multiple investors. That is not the solution. That is like diversification of risk.
Yeah, that though.
That too, India all around all the countries in the they do.
You are a pension fund. You are getting a very nice juicy opportunity of investing in Indian infrastructure debt.
Correct. And
which is highly priced.
And you are getting premium interest rate.
Yeah, you will get 8% interest or some whatever interest on that, tax free, taking home everything that you make till 2027. Now you tell me what is the risk here and how do you mitigate that risk?
Risk you have done.
Risk we know. Risk is liquidity risk or
Bust,
the project going bust or interest risk or whatever. Now how do you mitigate that risk? Come on, guys. I would have expected you to know this, yaar.
And you have seen that. You have watched that, read it, heard it, seen it, everything. Okay, then.
If we tell you the answer, you'll cry. Okay, so what the government said was that all the debt of these central public sector enterprises, okay, they will be put up in an ETF, okay, which will be investable by everyone. Everyone can invest in that ETF, whether it's a retailer or an external guy or whatever. And they are going to allow credit default swaps for this ETF.
CDS all over again. It doesn't mean that it's bad. It is not it's bad. But yes, CDSs are there and CDS now they are in India.
Correct.
Secondly,
so basically you can hedge your position in the market by the CDS that they are going to
correct. That means you invest and then buy CDS and that's it.
Yeah, you invest and you cover your ass and you're done.
And that means we all have two indices. Okay, we all have two indices. One that ETF ka rate and second CDS ka rate if it is there to track and watch what's going on infrastructure.
I can just see the look on your face.
Let's see what's happening.
Nice, juicy tools to trade with,
Trade or
invest also, but I'm not a pension fund.
But no, trade and track whether all the funding. So apparently the infrastructure segment is going to get highest amount of funding within all the sectors. So
Correct.
all the money is flowing through infrastructure.
Yeah.
So if that is going to be in the problem, same thing will happen, which happened in China in 2011. Correct. So to see whether everything is going right or everything is balanced or not, we need to track these two numbers.
Indicators, yeah, and it'll be fun. And
It
we'll
will be fun.
probably have a few sessions on that also when they come.
Okay, good one.
100%.
So we were interested in that, and this was the biggest announcement according to us in terms
the
of
budget.
sources of funds.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is that. Rest all you can read, all this stuff you'll get in the paper and all.
Correct.
Let's move on to the financial sector. I think we have spoken a lot about
So
this.
only third point was important.
Yeah, in the new announcements that they made for the financial sector, apart from the fact that they put 3,20,000 crores in this sector over the last 2 years, and they are waiting for it to pan out, and the agricultural credit target for this sector for this year is expected to be 15 lakh crores.
Correct.
Apart from this, the new thing that they announced was that the recovery eligibility limit for NBFCs. Okay. So now if you're an NBFC, you're given a loan to someone. Okay. Obviously, you're not a bank. So you've not given loans to those large people as much as you've given loans to small people. Okay. Now, if your loan size was 100 crores earlier, you could go in LCLT and do bankruptcy proceedings. But if your loan is less than 100 crores, you could not do that. You have to go through that other law, the SARFAESI Act and all those things. Now, if you have a loan size of 50 lakhs also, which is in default, you as an NBFC can go and approach that recovery NCLT thing and get your loan sorted. And this is a very big thing.
For NBFCs and for system also.
Correct.
That is
Correct.
important.
Yeah.
Okay. Now GST, we have discussed this.
Yeah,
This will
GST,
improve
we had
the
a
GST
very
collection.
detailed discussion on the e-invoicing system. So,
Secondly, Aadhaar-based verification for taxpayers. That means everything is going to collect and combine now. Now, industry. Okay. In this industry, you have a lot of things, but what I like the most is two things. First, okay, we need manufacturing. That is important. But we need new economy also. We'll discuss about that. For manufacturing, if you see, I just read one news today that Samsung has opened the largest hub in India.
Okay.
World's largest
manufacturing hub.
Manufacturing assembling, that I haven't checked it properly, but largest facility in India. Okay. So this is why I'm excited and not so excited also, but this is important. If you see, we were the IT hub of the world.
Yeah.
Okay, in terms of service, but we were not doing any breakthroughs with respect to hardwares, and which is the key. If you see hardwares, their patent, they are localized in few countries, especially US. And then China is making inroads for US. Okay. But that is the most important thing when you want to be a tech giant.
Yeah.
Okay. Better late than never.
So if you want, I can give an example.
Yes.
See, usually we use Intel processor in our machine.
Perfect.
If not that, AMD processor.
Perfect.
For graphics, we use NVIDIA.
Perfect.
All are US.
Correct.
Okay. Now, apart from that, if your phone is there, you're using that Snapdragon.
Correct.
Okay. And AMD may not be US.
Correct. Yeah, we will check out the countries, but the few countries like South Korea, Japan, China, US, and small part is
in phone. You have major was Snapdragon, and the other one was that ARM processor. MediaTek, which was there.
And I think ARM is from
British.
And this guy, Masa has invested in
ARM. Okay,
ARM.
SoftBank.
SoftBank.
Yeah. So now all those processors are there. Now what did Samsung do? Samsung earlier used to use all these processors. Now they came up with their own processor called Helios.
Okay. Oh yes, Helios.
Right.
Perfect.
So that is what Rahul is saying, that if you want to be a giant, the most costly component you are relying on other people, so you cannot work that way.
Correct.
Way.
Because we cannot be a service driven throughout our lifetime. And throughout our means actually ours lifetime.
Correct.
If we want to see and then go into heaven, if you want to see India growing, then for in our lifetime, in next 50 years or 40 or 30, whatever that is, India needs to do big breakthrough in terms of larger schemes. We should not just assemble mobile. At least they have started somewhere. So there will
Oppo manufactured in India
correct
now,
assembled kind of.
assembled in India.
So they have started mobile assembly and correct the but major important thing is I like that semiconductor stuff. Okay.
Yeah, and what I like about this is that the story which we keep hearing about India is the consumption story.
Correct.
And the consumer durable wala story.
And we do not do.
So if you are expecting कि consumer durable का consumption is going to go up like crazy, it makes blatant sense that you manufacture it here also, right? Instead of importing it.
Correct. Correct.
Our electronic import numbers over the last few years were actually going up pretty high.
Yes, and that was they were giving fight to gold import numbers.
Yeah, gold
Yes.
and
So
diamond
first is
market
gold,
and all this.
and second was electronic imports.
Yeah.
Correct. So most of the important things is this is the scheme for encouraging manufacturing mobile and semiconductor, and we would like government to invest in these things heavily so that they can create jobs. But at least there is a start somewhere. Okay, there is a start somewhere. Janak, you want to talk this? I think everyone knows.
This is also something
Operational.
operational that they have done, okay, to some simplified procedures and all that stuff, and some incentivization for exports.
Correct.
You
Correct.
can read about it.
Railway budget.
They are heavily betting on the railway over the last few years, okay, and the railway, they are putting in almost, the central government puts in 2,25,000 crore every year.
Correct.
Okay. And again, for the India ka tourism to kick off and all those things, also they are heavily banking on the railway. So the railway budget is important in that
Sense.
way. The announcement that they made out here was that they are going to start 6 more private trains like the Ahmedabad Mumbai Tejas. Because of that one announcement, the IRCTC stock went through the roof and it hit 1,400 bucks. Everyone can see that. So yeah. And other than that, things about the railway are pretty much out in the open. There is nothing.
There is nothing. So if you look at
worth discussing
receipts
today.
are 225 and expenses are 216. So very important stuff. But in terms of revenue, nothing. That's okay.
Yeah.
But it's a key for Indian transportation. Okay. Now redefining railways, we have seen that. You can read it. Not much to discuss right now.
There is some damn cool stuff which the railway itself puts up on its website. If
Correct.
you want to read all this and get fascinated by it, it's there.
Because this operation is huge. Railway
Yeah.
operation is huge.
But having said that, they are slow, yeah. They implement very slow. All these coach factories and all, they make trains very slowly.
Indian Railways manufacturing in India.
Yeah.
So this we have seen it. Okay, we don't want to comment on this.
Yeah, do your own maths on
do
this.
your own maths. Which thing is better for you? There is no huge grand changes in the entire
Yeah.
structure. So do whatever you want.
Yeah, basically, few people will end up saving 12,500 with this.
And
That's
then
it.
they will spend on some consumer durable in a month.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Nothing great in
Nothing
terms
else.
of income tax. Okay. Subsidies. Yes, the prime thing is fertilizer subsidy. It is going down.
They reduced it slightly.
Yes, that was the prime stuff. But apart from that, everything is there.
Everything is as it is.
As
There
it is.
No comment that we can make here also.
For this year.
Yeah.
Okay. Tax receipt. Yeah, this was
This is what we discussed at that time.
Correct.
In the Excel.
Correct.
That the indirect tax that is there, they have considered stagnant, and the direct tax they are considering slightly marginally
change. This is percentage of GDP, guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, numbers are there. Cultural and tourism. Since last time also we discussed about tourism, there are a few changes, and budget they have made it. Budget is same.
And then we heard a lot about museums and museumology or
Museumology and everything.
or something. I don't know what it was called.
I don't know why
And
we have put in this slide. Makes no sense now, currently.
yeah, we are gonna have a few museum people, and as a Bombay guy, I remember in 2002 there was
We
a
went to.
news that we are gonna get our own oceanarium.
Okay.
It never happened.
So,
Never ever
as
happened.
always, in the
I wanted to
budgets,
see a bloody dolphin in the
India.
Bombay
I
aquarium.
think they tried to
No, they got
bring in
penguins.
2 penguins. Okay,
Yeah,
okay, okay.
and they're also South African
Are
penguins.
they there? Means,
They are still there in
okay.
Jijamata Udyan,
Okay,
the zoo
okay.
that is
Zoo.
there.
So again, Indian in budget, when you see announcement and promise, do not trust.
Yeah.
Cross check.
I'm telling you, they promised us an oceanarium when that Free Willy movie had released and
Okay,
all
okay,
that
okay,
stuff.
okay, okay.
Yeah, and they gave us 2 penguins 15 years later. Yeah.
New economy and yes.
Yeah.
So new economy, guys, we were very bullish on this. Okay, and when Nirmala Sitaraman spoke about ML, AI, quantum, and she said quantum computing. So I was like, oh, quantum computing! They are going to invest huge stuff now. Okay, and what they end up doing, we will talk about LIC. What they end up doing, they promised 8,000 crore in quantum computing, and the promise was that that money will be disbursed in next 5 years. Quantum computing 8,000 crore and next 5 years doesn't make sense.
In 5 years, this space is going to go out
to next
outer
level.
space, man.
Yes. So there will be outer space quantum computing.
Yeah.
So doesn't make sense. Again, at least, and we'll be there hearing each and every budget for next 10, 20 years, and we'll be
Yeah.
hoping at least some government or some year this government or any government will make that giant leap and will invest in futuristic things
And this is bizarre considering the number of IT people we have in India.
already.
So we have the required skill set,
Everything,
which is
everything.
trainable or adaptable to
Correct.
whatever new technology is there or whatever new language is there or whatever new thing they want to do, but they are just not doing it.
And so that means now onus is on private investment
Yeah,
and VCs and Ps or foreign money to make the breakthroughs.
correct.
Okay, onus is there. Now let's take few cases or few questions which we have not covered.
Okay.
The first one is, let's go from LIC itself.
Okay. Now that the government is looking to dilute its stake in LIC, would LIC stop being the government's safe haven as to buying toxic assets like IDBI? So Varun, when she made that announcement, she actually said that a lot of transparency will actually have to be put in because of listing that company on board. So we also hope that it probably happens that way.
But having said that, just guys, listen to this. You can get a piece of company which is extremely cash rich. And having said that, in last few quarters, we have seen there were some problems in terms of cash and premiums in LIC.
Exactly.
Yes, but think about this case. Okay, you are going to get piece of company which is saving Indian stock market since 1992. And still that company is strong and growing and having almost not monopoly, but the larger chunk of insurance. So what will be your opinion if you are a fund manager? Guys, what will be your opinion? Because post this announcement, we have seen two, three interviews of fund managers, and they are like, it's a very good thing. It's a welcoming step. So
obviously, because dividend ka asal hoge. This thing is the one which is going to give them dividend.
So from the fund manager's perspective,
it's a jackpot.
If they do some if government does some calibration and put forward this thing, it can be a jackpot. It can be a jackpot.
But having said that,
from our point of view,
probably also introduce it at a very high valuation.
Yeah,
knowing that it's going to be in demand.
But from the country's point of view or from the government's point of view, so that means they are now we are in such a need of money that we are going to give away our prime assets.
This is end game. This is
end
like
game.
when you play chess and you make the
Last
king
move.
take one move.
Yeah, this is
like that.
now we don't have any resource. Aja bhai, sabse bada prani aja.
Yeah, let this guy enter the game.
Yeah.
That way. So
it's like घर में सारा asset थोड़ा थोड़ा बेच दिया है. Now I'll sell my prime property.
Yeah. This is that.
घर का कोहिनूर बेचूंगा मैं, kind of a stuff.
Correct. So I don't know what, like any announcements on aviation sector. They're like the airport thing was there.
Udan scheme, airport, new airports, those things were there. Just go and check out.
Now there was a question one of you asked on the dividend policy. Okay, so the dividend distribution tax was done away by the government this year. Okay, and dividend is now taxable in the hands of the recipient. Okay, so now that is equally bad, but little better. See, because I'll tell you what, if I'm a company owner, okay, when this dividend distribution tax was introduced 2 years back, it was going to be applicable from April.
Correct.
In March, every company gave potloads of dividend. Jitna cash tha sab kali kar diya. Why? Clear intention that we don't want to pay this tax. We are not going to give much dividend if this tax prevails. So, if you think of it from that perspective, doing away with this tax will actually do some amount of good out there. Now, keeping it taxable in the hands of the recipient is again now
for recipients there is no thing, because before 2 years back they were following the same aspect, because Nirmalasitaraman was, we are going to, I know the dividend was non-taxable earlier, but if you go to speech of Nirmalasitaraman, she was like, we will shift back to old dividend policy.
But this is not that.
Okay. So structure may be different, but earlier we used to see that our dividend income was non-taxable in the hands of us also, and in the entire thing. Now for companies it's good, but for us it's
correct.
Not
but the thing here is that if you're a mutual fund guy who has put in equity dividend mutual fund, okay, there are growth plan and dividend plan.
Correct.
You have only until March to change all your investment in growth plan if you don't want that dividend wala capital gain aspect which you are receiving as a dividend to be taxed. So that is a screw up. Okay, this is a slight technicality, but it's very important because for an equity mutual fund, they are not giving the profit as the dividend. They are giving that capital gain that they have received in
as
that
this
thing as the dividend.
Perfect.
Okay, the price of that NAV hardly moves up. Okay, because you keep getting the dividend. So from that aspect, till March you will have to shift all your dividend plans to the growth plan wala aspect if you don't want that to be taxed.
Okay, so again for us nothing great. Correct.
That's fine. Now people are going to have endless debates on it anyways.
Now a few things which we really like in the budget is power sector, that
the manufacturing,
under the definition of manufacturing and the tax rates, they have brought power sector in. So that is important. That was important. And they did that. Second thing, what we like is this MSME audit.
The exemption of audit for MSMEs, they have expanded the limit, and they have also given a tax rebate to 100% tax exemption to a few MSMEs for
and startups also.
Yeah, for 2 years or something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So now the worst thing which can happen is no announcement for real estate sector.
Hardly.
No major announcement for
peanuts.
Real estate sector.
Yeah, if you're buying an affordable house, your loan ka jo interest subvention tha, that has been extended. Okay. Other than that, for real estate, there is no announcement that is there, and that sucks because if you're an unskilled laborer,
real estate and manufacturing.
Unskilled laborer will not go in manufacturing.
Unskilled laborer.
If you are an unskilled laborer, you are going to get into agri इंफ्रा और रियल
रियल
एस्टेट.
एस्टेट, परफेक्ट
एग्री और इंफ्रा को तुमने वो किया है, केटर किया है, रियल एस्टेट को
नहीं किया है.
ब्लेटेंटली इग्नोर किया है,
And-
एंड दिस इज अ वेरी बैड थिंग बिकॉज employment is the fight right now.
Correct. Yes, that was the stuff.
So
Anything
that's
else?
it. That's our take on the budget. Do you guys have any questions, comments, doubts,
So final
clarifications or
summary
something?
is that it will take time.
Okay,
It
so
is going to take time.
yeah. Now Varun has asked that with the banking sector reeling and banks like Yes Bank with a sizable portfolio struggling, will be foreseeing the RBI coming in to save it. Rumors of TARP have been doing around.
So first of all, will RBI come forward and save it? Janak, that you have a particular opinion on that, correct?
See, I have a very strong opinion that RBI is going to save it because it is the third largest private bank of India, fourth largest private bank of India. Okay. So it has to be saved in some way or the other. Okay. So one moment. Now, how they are going to save it, I don't know. They might. There are several ways they can do it. Some people said that SBI might have to take it entire in within itself. I don't know how feasible that is.
Yeah. So, but one thing is there at this point in time, and the situation we are in terms of economy, government will not allow any bank to go down, and
Yeah,
that to bank
yeah.
of Yes Bank size.
Correct. And RBI also stepped in on that PMC thing and is trying to salvage that also.
So PMC was a pocket.
Tiny bank.
Yes, it was a pocket.
But still it's trying to save
Save
that.
it, correct.
So Yes Bank is a large thing.
Yes Bank is a large thing. Or there may be a case where you may not know that something problematic was there in terms of bankruptcy. I'm talking about end game, and they will do some kind of merger, acquisition, foreign investment, anything like that.
Anything.
Currently, any panic news or rumor is not at all good for entire economy, especially in terms of banking system.
Correct.
I know that Yes Bank का जितना गंदा न्यूज आना था सब आ गया है, but still you cannot allow
this deduction from income tax wala thing. You can read. It's been extensively discussed everywhere in each and every newspaper.
So the thing is, currently, like Janak suggested, you have income, you have tax, and easy to do entire process. Okay. Now, because of this new thing, people are discussing from the both sides. If you go to a particular economist or CAs, they are talking about like how this is beneficial. If you go to other ones, they are talking about how this is not beneficial. According to us, in terms of economy, it has no major impact on the economy in terms of consumption. That's it.
Correct. So now Varun is asking, how about the telecom sector and the AGR dues, where the government stands there?
So I think in this budget there was not a
in budget there wasn't
grand
anything,
scheme.
but I
Correct.
can tell you what has been happening. So the AGR dues were supposed to be paid in January. Only Reliance Jio paid.
Correct.
Everyone else did not pay.
Correct.
Now, because of this, the court hearing was supposed to be there, held on 27 Jan. I don't know what happened in that hearing, but the TRAI, TRAI, it said that we are not going to cancel anyone's licenses just yet, okay, until this entire court case issue is solved.
Correct.
So till then, everyone is going on as it is till the court case gets solved.
And guys, this time round, 5 years back, the entire sector was, lot of players were there. Now only 3 and 4 players. That too, a government. Okay, so Airtel, Vodafone, and Jio.
And
these
BSNL.
two, yes, and government, वो तो ठीक है, उनको खुद को बेचना है तो वो चलो. लेकिन these two guys are the biggest. में ऐसा नहीं होगा कि कुछ ऊपर नीचे कर सकते हैं. These are also biggies.
Yeah, the court case is going to
Correct.
define the entire sector's future, basically.
And
So
secondly,
let's wait and watch.
yes, and secondly, I think just before the this AGR issue, or during that issue, there was one announcement that government has allowed 100% FDI in Airtel.
Ah, yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
That is also a key aspect. That is also a key aspect.
Yeah.
Correct. Because that will give Airtel a chunk. The
They'll give Airtel a
resources.
chunk. Vodafone is already
और obviously
a
बाहर का
very
है.
large company globally, so they can invest. But the point is that they are all looking for a futuristic
Long-term solution. Correct.
scenario where if they invest now and pay these dues, in the future they don't get harassed by the government.
Correct. Correct.
So let's see how it goes. How it goes.
Anything else, guys?
So I hope you found today's session interesting. We tried to cover some aspects
Different
which
aspects.
are not spoken
Correct.
about in the common media. That was our purpose. And
Yes, and it will take time for our economy
yeah, it's
to
a
revive significantly.
slow medicine.
Slow medicine. Secondly, money is going to come from FDI, which is already there in India, plus a foreign investment when it comes to infrastructure and manufacturing. Anything else, guys?
Okay, great. So thank you, Warren. Thank you, guys. And I hope you enjoyed the session. Since there are no further questions, we will stop the session. We'll put this up on YouTube.
Yeah, we'll put this
And you can have a
TMR
discussion there, and we'll also be putting it up on TMR Live, our portal, and we can have a discussion there also if you want. So
Thank you very much.
that's it from us.
See
Chalo,
you.
bye. See
Good
you.
night.
Keep reading. And if you have anything interesting, do share.